Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. If you're joining me live, welcome. And if you're watching this later, thank you for taking the time. We live in such strange times, such difficult times. And I just finished my own personal meditation, meditating on what is it that I would like to bring forth this morning with you. And I can feel in myself the difficulty facing both some global problems and some personal issues in my own life as a practitioner, as a mother, wife, friend. There is so much suffering going on, some of it on such large scale. The fires in the west side of the United States, the devastation, the deaths, thinking about climate change, issues of social justice, some politics that are very troubling in terms of ethics and morals. I think what happens, because I see it happens to me, at times it simply feels like it's too much. It's too much. Too much to handle, too much to deal with. In my day-to-day work, I deal with the suffering of individuals. And even that at times feels like a lot. As I interact with people during very difficult periods in their lives, the burden that they carry, the trauma in their lives, the difficult emotions, the terrible stories, of course, all of that has impact. And that also can feel sometimes like it's simply too much. So when things feel overwhelming and they feel too much, there is often a sense of hopelessness, of being powerless. And yet, I want us to come back today to the benefits of small acts, of tiny steps, recognizing at times this is truly all that we can do. Small acts for ourselves, small acts for others, small acts for Earth. And I find that when I take small acts, I regain my footing, I find my balance, and I come back to myself, to my heart, capable of managing the bigger picture. I invite you on this journey with me today, exploring how small acts can have great impact. Wherever you are, whenever you're tuning in, finding yourself in a comfortable position, whether seated or lying down, and then gently closing your eyes. Soon the bell will sound, indicating the beginning of today's practice. The practice of meditation, of reflection and relaxation allows a different level of exploration. Let us invite now relaxation into the body, noticing first our breath wherever you feel it the most. Be the breath detective, perhaps in the chest, rising and falling with the breath, perhaps in the belly, or maybe sensing the air as it enters the nose. And if breath is not your guide, turn to the body, noticing where your body connects with the surface on which you're sitting or lying down. Simply take a moment and notice sensations in the body, perhaps some comfortable, some less so. Sensations are simply information. The breath as it is. Take a moment, inviting relaxation, perhaps like a wave that is starting at the top of your head, and wherever it touches, muscles, tendons, releasing and relaxing. Let relaxation glide, allow the face muscles, relaxing, jaws loosening, releasing, inviting perhaps a gentle parting of the lips. Allow the neck to loosen, the throat to open. Let relaxation glide from the shoulders, down the arms all the way to your fingertips. Notice the chest, the upper back, releasing. Each in-breath an invitation for more relaxation. Each out-breath sends relaxation throughout the body, inviting the mind into reflection. Notice the abdomen, the lower back, releasing. The pelvis area supported by the surface on which you're seated or lying down, softening, grounding as you scan down, following the wave down the upper legs, the knees, the lower legs, ankles and feet, releasing any tension, inviting softness, comfort, and relaxation. Taking this moment for yourself, a small act with great impact. Your nervous system recognizing time to rest in the safety of your own sanctuary. A small act, great impact. Allow yourself a time for reflection. Notice, as if observing, witnessing yourself with great compassion of areas of difficulty, of challenge, of places in which you feel overwhelmed. Bring to mind a personal situation first and notice it. And this could be in a relationship, this could be your own health or somebody you care about. It feels too much. It feels like there is nothing you can do. And yet perhaps there is something that can be done. And sometimes doing does not mean taking action. Sometimes doing may mean just listening, opening your heart, recognizing the suffering in yourself, in others. Other times, a phone call, a card, a meal, some flowers. What small act is within your powers? Recognizing that any small act can have great impact. Take a moment and consider what can be done. Perhaps it helps to bring the mind to a scene, a memory where you were suffering and you received a small act, perhaps to the giver, a minor event, and yet to you it meant so much. Take a moment and reflect. Can you remember how it made you feel? The impact of perhaps a phone call, a gesture, and then ground yourself in the knowledge that you can provide that as well. a small act, a gesture, a word, a kindness. We have such tremendous healing power within us. Can we regain our footing? Can we find ourselves stronger, hopeful, powerful in affecting others and ourselves, simply by taking a small initiative? How can you turn this inward towards you? What small act can you provide yourself with that creates within you a sense of hopefulness, an alleviation of suffering? Perhaps, if possible, going out to nature, perhaps calling a friend that you know will listen. Maybe it's a long bath, putting music on and dancing. What small act can you give yourself that helps even momentarily ground you in your heart, in your healing power? Let's now expand our view to problems that don't seem our personal problems and yet affect us greatly. Social justice, climate change, the politics of our day. These big, big issues can seem even more impossible, even more overwhelming. And yet, even here, consider how small acts, if taken by many, create big change. On many levels. It helps to recognize we are all connected. We are all affecting each other constantly, in big and small ways. Perhaps your small way, your act, is recycling. Imagine all of us recycling. Perhaps your small act is speaking up when you notice racism and social injustice. Your speaking up may seem like a small act, and yet, if taken on by many, the impact is tremendous. mindful of this earth, mindful of all people living on this planet, going through their day, suffering in their way, finding joy in their way. What can you do? How can you contribute? Take a moment and reflect in relaxation. Perhaps on a deep level of our relationship with ourselves, we notice that when we take acts, small or large, that are congruent with our values, with our morals, with our ethics, this alleviates our own suffering and allows us to walk this path, the path of our personal lives on this earth in this time, more grounded, more connected, heart and mind, working together, allowing us a sense of wise hope, a hope that resides in a deep understanding of our own power, of healing, of transformation. Together, let's reflect on the power of giving and receiving. For some, it is easier to give than to receive. And yet, when we are not allowing others to give us, we are taking away from them an opportunity to rest in the beauty of giving. Giving is receiving. Receiving is giving. Take a moment coming back to your breath, coming back to yourself in relaxation. Soon the bell will sound indicating the completion of today's practice. Take your time, bring in movement, allowing the body to gently come back. Allowing yourself this gift of a moment of reflection in relaxation. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for taking the time. Until we meet again.